David had always questioned the purpose of life while suffering from unexplained chest pains since childhood. Working as an administrator, he was immersed in his thoughts about the true meaning of our existence, and if the end is inevitable for everyone, what sense there is in continuing to struggle. Until one day, a heart attack led him to a near-death experience, the famous NDE. In a luminous place, he found answers to some of his existential questions, seeing the Earth in a dark future. Hello, I'm Marcus, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to Beyond the Life We Live. I hope you feel at home and take in the lesson from the story we're about to tell. By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as this is very important to us, helping us bring new and impactful stories to you.
The threshold is a place between our worlds. It's where everyone passes when they temporarily leave the physical plane. There are many, and this is just one of them.
David was always an ordinary boy, except for one detail. Since he was little, he wondered why we are here and where we came from. Along with this restlessness, he felt strange chest pains. These pains followed him like a shadow, appearing at unexpected moments. At 10 years old, during a physical education class, the pain became so intense that his worried teacher called his parents. This was the first of many visits to the doctor. Exams, tests, consultations, nothing explained the pains. Over time, he learned to live with them, though he always wondered why. Until one autumn afternoon, the chest pain returned with an intensity he had never felt before. He tried to call for help, but his voice came out only as a whisper. The world around him began to darken. The last thing David saw was the ceiling spinning above him before everything went black. At that moment, his NDE began. When he opened his eyes again, he was no longer in the office. He found himself in a strange, luminous place, unlike anything he had ever seen before. David blinked several times, trying to understand where he was. He began to realize that the place was vast and bright, in fact, an immense park filled with many people. The ground was like ours, with grass, but with more vivid colors, and the sky above was such an intense blue that it seemed unreal. He felt strangely light, with an immense peace, as if he had been freed from something bad. Then he asked out loud, not expecting an answer,
"What does this mean? Where am I?"
To his surprise, a soft, calm voice answered,
You are at the threshold, David.
He turned and saw a person approaching.
"What is the threshold?"
The person smiled gently and explained,
The threshold is a place between our worlds. It's where everyone passes when they temporarily leave the physical plane. There are many, and this is just one of them.
David looked around, amazed at the beauty and peace of the place, the extremely vivid colors, and the feeling that it was a place where we feel much more at home than here. He realized how heavy, arduous, and ugly life is. Then a question arose in his mind, one he had always wanted to ask.
"Who is God?"
The figure seemed to hesitate for a moment before answering.
That's a question to which even we don't have the full answer. The Creator is a mystery even to beings from many of these other planes.
David was thoughtful for a moment, then looked at the figure again.
"What happened to me? Why am I here?"
Your heart stopped for a few moments, and your consciousness was brought here. But everything will be fine. Don't worry.
The news took him by surprise. A heart attack? At 30 years old? The chest pains that had accompanied him all his life had finally reached their limit.
Don't worry. You still have a lot to live for. This is just a moment of pause, an opportunity for you to see things in a new way.
David nodded, feeling an unexpected calm. He had so many questions, so many things he wanted to understand. And there, in that place between worlds, he felt that he could finally start finding some answers. David looked at the park in awe. Everything at the same time was new and different, yet it reminded him a lot of Earth. The colors were stronger, the sky more beautiful, but with more than one sun, and he didn't quite understand what was happening. Still surprised by everything he saw, the person who had greeted him, walking beside him, asked,
David, would you like to see something special?
The person pointed to the sky, and suddenly the sky changed. David saw Earth as if he were in space, but it looked different. There was less green, fewer lights, more brown, and the oceans looked dirty.
Why is Earth like that?
What you're seeing is the path it's currently on. That's why some of you come here, to help make a difference. The change starts with each person. Everyone needs to better themselves to get closer to the Creator.
The Creator? You mean God?
It's time to go back, David.
David felt himself getting lighter. The colorful park began to fade. He closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, he realized he was in a hospital room, surrounded by nurses and doctors. He had returned. From that moment on, David knew he had changed, and he began to live differently, taking better care of himself and others. Later, after a long recovery, he had a new vision and mission in life: to understand that we must do our best while we're here. He remembers asking many other questions, including about the origin of life and the existence of other types of life in the universe. Although many of the details faded upon his return, he clearly remembers being told that it is a mistake for humans to think that all these places were created solely and exclusively for them. However, all beings share the same purpose as we do, and the choice to be on Earth was made by us, not by them. Because of this, any act of giving up by anyone is looked upon unfavorably, and we go where our vibrations lead us. If it's a good vibration, we go to a good place. If it's a bad one, we go to a bad place as well. He also remembers that figure telling him that everyone has their own importance, and that minds that begin to understand the reality we live in often start to question whether they are truly needed here. This can lead them to consider giving up on life, but in order to prevent the world from reaching the fate he was shown, it is essential that these people resist, as they will be the key to the necessary change to avoid that destiny. He remembered that being in that place was more real than the world we live in. It was as if that world was our true home, and this one, a temporary place. And he understood that no matter how wonderful the life after life might be, giving up or hastening that moment is never a good choice, because each of us came with a mission and for learning. And those who seek to understand what exists beyond without losing control of their lives are the ones who will truly make a difference, not only in the future of the planet, but also in the purpose of bringing us closer to what they call the Creator.